We are back with you live once again, another Johnny Torch live broadcast. Here we are, broadcast number 196, bringing you Torch News Roundup number 171. Yes, here we are once again, and finally, I think I have my health, at least a lot better than it was earlier this week. Yeah, I was feeling under the weather. I was listening to some of those two videos that I did midweek. I actually sounded pretty good, so I don't think anybody probably noticed any great difference in my delivery, but we are back here live with our health, thanking God, and, you know, this is a staple for us, the Saturday show, the only way to spend your Saturday here with us on the Johnny Torch Live program. And, you know, not a lot of stuff to talk about because I did the show on Wednesday this week, but I tried to cull together a couple of stories. Of course, the most interesting story, the most important story that everyone's talking about is we got the full look of the Batman in the Batman movie, the full Batman costume. And there's some behind-the-scenes photos that leaked out. And, you know, I don't know why they didn't choose to do a full review, you know, a full reveal like they did with Joker. They gave some, like, you know, not particularly well choreographed photos of the chest emblem and the mask. I think if they had done a full reveal, it probably would have gone over better. I don't think a lot of people responded as well to this costume as, you know, the studio probably would have liked. But, again, you know, we'll talk about that later. We'll get to that in a moment. First off, welcome in. Thank you for joining us on the Johnny Torch Live broadcast. We're here every Saturday, the only way to spend your Saturday with us here on the Johnny Torch Live program. I'm your host, Johnny Torch, if that wasn't already obvious. Get the chat room open if you would like to leave a comment. If you are watching this after the live broadcast, be sure to leave a comment below. We always read all the comments, you know, so you have any comments or questions. They always get read on a subsequent Torch News Roundup, so always check those out, and you will hear any questions or comments you have relayed. Also, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe. We've got a couple of new subscribers. Let me see. I'm going to bring that up right now. Let's see. Michael Elge Blair has just subscribed. He's the most recent subscriber, and I want to thank you, Michael, for joining the show. Hopefully you enjoy our live shows. I know, like I always say, I would like to do some more recorded videos. Haven't gotten the time to do them, but, you know, everything is possible. You know, in the future, I'm hoping to do a few more of those. I'm sure a lot of people come to the channel mostly from watching some of those early reviews, and I want to do them. I want to do them more. It's just that there's no time. Speaking of which, the reason why there is no time is check out the link in the description below, and you will find my comic, as you can see on the screen right before you, The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. Bullets Bourbon, a down-on-his-luck private eye who takes on the most colorful collection of villains imaginable. We are in the middle of our remastering program here. I remastered, there's 6 issues in the series so far. I've remastered the first, well, technically the last 2 story arcs, which is When the Night Comes, which is the Carrot Top Pencil Neck team-up, the cover of which you'll see before you here, and the second story, the second graphic novel, Knock on Wood, which shows the origin of Bullets meeting Pencil Neck. The first one we're working on is the first issue, Bullets Bourbon meets Carrot Top. And it's the first issue, and you know, I want to keep this one pretty simple. It's going to be probably the most inexpensive of them. I'm going to put a couple of things back into it, like there were a few pinups that I did originally that were lost to time, I suppose. I'm going to recreate those with new artwork, but it's going to be based on the same drawings. And we're going to have an afterword, as usual, where I talk about some of the inspirations and, you know, what I was thinking while writing the story. This one I might put a couple of extra pages. I usually only do 2. Because, you know, I don't want to get too verbose and get into all kinds of details. And besides, I think there's a fine line between, you know, because I love knowing the behind-the-scenes stories of the movies and books and films and whatever that I watch. But there is a point where I think you can take too much information in and it ceases to have some of that magic, when you know all the tricks and you see all the bells and whistles. So again, I'm going to do probably a little bit more of an extended afterward for this one, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to be more than 3 pages. It possibly 4. I'm toying with the idea, but we'll see. All right, so with all that said, also check the link in the description below for our Twitter page. And on Twitter right now, let me see if I can bring it up before me here. I don't think you can see it on screen because I don't got the capture display on, but let's see. We have a poll question up. We usually try to do a poll of the week question. And the poll this week is... it's concerning DMs. This is not really a... usually I do videos about... polls about the movies upcoming or whatever. But this is a little bit different. This is about DMs. Now, a lot of people say DMs are sacred and are never meant to be shared. Personally, I've always conducted myself as if the world could read or hear anything I've ever said. That goes for Twitter, that goes for YouTube. I don't say anything here that I would, not say in public. I don't say anything in private that I wouldn't say here or in public, and vice versa or whatever. I maintain that I've got nothing to hide. I mean, there's no real deep, dark secrets that can be unearthed in a DM from me. But other people feel differently. I've never treated DMs as sacred unless specifically asked to keep a confidence. So, if someone says, well, between you and me, I can't stand Harry or something like that, well, I'm not going to share that DM, so that Harry finds out or whatever. So I will keep a confidence, but I've never treated them as if they were completely not for public consumption. So that probably will turn off a lot of people from DMing me, as I make no promises. But the question as follows: what say you? Can they be A, shared regardless, B, shared only with permission, C, shared only as proof, and D, shared unless told not to? Let me break these down a little bit. Shared regardless, everybody can probably figure that one out. Just share them, and it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. Shared only with permission means if I want to quote something that you said in a DM, I have to ask you first. Now, that's different from D, which is shared unless told not to. That's me saying, well, I can share anything that we've talked about so long as you didn't say this is just between you and me. And of course, the C, the third option, shared only as proof, that's kind of one of those hairy situations where somebody will say, you didn't say that, and, well, I have to pull up the proof, got the receipts, and we'll show them. So far, shared unless told not to has not gotten a single vote. We only got 9 votes in this poll, so it's not a very big popular poll, but if you want to, there's still 4 days left in the poll span. In third place can be shared regardless. You have no secrets. In second place, shared only as proof. A lot of people will make that leap if they need to share it, but only if it's proof. And in first place, shared only with permission. A lot of people insist that you must get permission first before you can share a DM. I would say, though, a DM is not necessarily a private message. I think YouTube, they call them PMs because they're supposedly private messages. DMs are direct messages, which means they're not necessarily private, I suppose, but they are direct to you, so nobody else sees them. Alright, let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my YouTube description for the link to the Twitter page and vote in that poll. Alright, so as usual, with the housekeeping over, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about here. Oh, first we got the mailbag, that's right. Got a couple of comments. We've got a mailbag segment. And let's see here. First, Basstown NCS has given us a couple of comments here. Let's see. Awesomely Epic was the most recent one 2 days ago. And yes, we gave him a thumbs up for that. And we thank them for joining us. I'm not sure if they are subscribers, because for some reason my notifications don't tell me very many subscribers. Even when I get an influx of subscribers, they don't tell me. We also got a comment that was from for the last Torch News Roundup. We got a comment from our Sonic review from Amy McLean, Super Ink Arts. The lovely Amy McLean said it wasn't a bad film at all, talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. And so, another one, I'm not sure if she subscribed to me. Amy, I think I've seen you a couple of times leave comments on my videos the past couple of years. Let me know if you're a subscriber, and subscribe if you haven't, and, you know, I'll check out your channel. I'd be very happy to. I'm always happy to sub for sub, and to, but see, Amy's got a big channel. I've already checked out her channel, and she's got like 22,000 subscribers, so she doesn't need my help, but I'm happy to sub to anyone who does need help. You know, we're here for each other. You know, I understand not everybody's channel is, you know, suited for everybody, you know, but a sub still goes a long ways to try to get you halfway there to an audience. So, you know, I don't, you know, expect a lot from a sub for sub in that way, but again, I love to support the people who support me. So Amy, if you are a sub, let me know and I will be happy to sub back. But yeah, check out Amy McLean's Super Ink Arts. That's that professional training I have as a broadcaster showing up. Okay, so thank you, Amy. Thank you, Basstown, for the comments. Thank you for the views. And we will carry on here with our first story. Let's see. We have some news yet again about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yes, this show is going to come out, I think, next year. I'm not sure if it's this year. But, let's see. Let me pull up my notes. Although cameras stopped rolling on Disney Plus's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier last week, we're still hearing about new additions to the cast, and this latest one is sure to prompt speculation. Deadline reports that veteran actor Carl Lumbly has joined the cast of the Marvel show. While the article states that his role has not been revealed, it does strongly hint that he could be, well, playing Isaiah Bradley, aka the Black Captain America. In the comics, Bradley was an early product of the United States Super Soldier program codenamed Project Rebirth during World War II, and also took up the shield as an alternative version of the Star-Spangled Avenger. I don't really remember this. Now, this is kind of gives me pause. I really don't want them to retroactively make Captain America less relevant by saying anybody can be Captain America. That's where the problem lies, I think, with the Dark Knight trilogy, where they, you know, incessantly chatter about how anybody could be Batman. No, Bruce Wayne is Batman. Anybody could be a superhero if they apply themselves. You know, I suppose anybody can be a super soldier if they take the formula, but it's two different things to be Captain America. Whether they will call it, but see, if we have the Black Captain America, and then we have, U.S. Agent, I mean, I'm sure these are comic book characters and concepts, but I don't really think we need to clutter up with all these different concepts. I didn't like Falcon becoming Captain America either, and, you know, I just think you should leave Cap's mantle alone, let Falcon be Falcon. You know, these are the characters maybe could have something, some functionality in a story, but I don't know. I don't really want to see replacement Captain Americas. And it's, you know, disappointing. Alright, so yeah, as a callback to his stellar work voicing Martian Manhunter in the classic Justice League animated series, Lumbly recently appeared as the father of John Jones on the CW's Supergirl. He also played Dick Halloran in Mike Finnegan's Stephen King adaptation Dr. Sleep. And he was also Mantis, right? One of the earliest superheroes shows in the 90s. It was like a unique character. It wasn't a based on a comic character. I feel bad because I never watched that show back in the day. I was in a bad place with superhero television shows in the early 90s. I was devastated when they canceled The Flash. 90s Flash. I was like, I'm not going to get my heart broken again. I'm not going to get invested in another superhero TV show. Around the same time, of course, they canceled Superboy, which was really a great show. A lot of people don't really know about that show as much. I think The Flash is coming back into vogue now with John Wesley Shipp appearing on The Flash with Grant Gustin. But of course, there is a pretty strong segment of, fans of a certain age like myself that was a kid back when The Flash was originally broadcast, and that was such a great show, and it only lasted a season. I was literally devastated. I tried to do, back in those days, it was a show ahead of its time, because there was no internet to do a fan backlash. The only time that was really successful, I suppose, was Star Trek, the classic show. But I wanted to write letters, I tried doing things, didn't happen. But, in this day and age, if that show was on the air and it went out the way it did in one season, you'd have a lot of people, protesting, getting it back on the air. But I digress. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier stars Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson Falcon, Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes Winter Soldier, Emily Van Camp as Sharon Carter, Daniel Bruhl as Baron Zemo, and Wyatt Russell as John Walker, U.S. Agent. So let me know what you think in the comments below about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Do you think this is pretty cool that we've got Carl Lumbly, who's great in everything he does, but I mean, do you want to see Isaiah Bradley, the Black Winter Soldier? That would be interesting. The Black Captain America. Does the Black Captain America have a Black Winter Soldier? That'd be interesting. You can have a, Black Bucky Barnes. I don't know. Now we're getting silly. Now we're just getting silly. Let's move on. Okay. Alright, next up we've got some news here about the Superman and Lois show. This, again, is also in the realm of speculation. The CW has ordered Superman and Lois straight to series, and expectations are high on the latest Arrowverse show to deliver as the Man of Steel finally makes a small screen return. Thanks to Prime Timer, we have even more details about what's to come in the pilot episode. As previously reported, Clark Kent will have been laid off from the Daily Planet when we catch up with him. Things only get worse for the hero when he hears his mother calling out for him from Smallville, and when he gets home, she's dead from unspecified causes at the Kent farm. That's sad. Yeah, they're going to start the series with Martha's death. Martha's going to die. They probably want to get away from the whole Martha, why did you say that name thing? I don't know, but kind of sad to start the show with that. Jonathan Kent is already dead when Superman and Lois begins, but it seems like Martha's demise could be tied to a greater mystery and the unknown villain who reportedly debuts in this episode. It's also said that the CW series will feature the return of small girl villain Morgan Edge. This time, he will be portrayed as the owner of the Daily Planet. I think he was in the comics, too, at some point, wasn't he? Yeah, he was the one, I think he either owned the Daily Planet or did he own Galaxy Broadcasting when they had Clark be a TV reporter, which I think was kind of ill-conceived, but that's what they did in the, late 70s, early 80s. He's reportedly responsible for Clark losing his job and cares very little about real journalism and facts. Whether this is the version of Edge played by Adrian Pasdeur is unclear, but he may have been reimagined after Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah, I didn't notice really that, but what happened to Morgan Edge and Supergirl? Adrian Pasdeur is a great actor. I've always called him the poor man's George Clooney. I don't know if you'd be appreciative of that, but the poor man's George Clooney, yeah, he could do it all. He was Glenn Talbot in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which kind of, I'm still smarting over that. I really wish they would have used him in The Incredible Hulk. Although, to be totally honest with you, I don't know what they're doing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if that is even really considered tied to the series anymore, to the MCU series at large. I don't know, but let me know what you think about this. We got to move on to another story, which is related to this in a way. We're talking about the Hulk, right? This is something else that kind of frosts my fender, so to speak. I don't understand why we can't just get a Hulk series, but we're apparently getting a She-Hulk series. And, we've already wasted so many of the Hulk's villains, right? I mean, we've gotten Talbot on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We got the Absorbing Man on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Of course, Absorbing Man started as a Thor villain, I believe, but I think he kind of is known more as a Hulk villain because the whole gimmick of getting the powers of the Hulk and absorbing them. They even used him in Ang Lee's Hulk, in a manner of speaking, although that didn't really work out quite well. I don't care what anyone says, to be honest with you. As a Hulk fan, that was a disaster, that movie, Ang Lee's Hulk. Ugh. I haven't been able to sit through it again since it's one of those things where I bought the DVD thinking, if I fast forward basically through 45 minutes of this, I might get a decent last hour. But no, really, it was ill-conceived. Almost as ill-conceived as... No, it was more ill-conceived, but it was probably kind of along the thinking of, like, the Zack Snyder DCU films. It's like someone that just didn't really know a lot about the character tried to do something with it. I don't know, kind of disappointing. Alright, so let me get to the copy here for The Incredible Hulk. There have been rumblings for a while that William Hurt's General Thunderbolt Ross will become Red Hulk in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the groundwork was laid for that transformation in 2008's The Incredible Hulk when he first started toying with the Super Soldier Serum. Now, following the news that Red Hulk could appear in She-Hulk, another rumor claims that there are plans for the character to make his presence felt in a future Thunderbolts project. We've been hearing claims for months that the team will show up in the MCU when speculation is running rampant that the first hints about them assembling could come in the Black Widow and Falcon and Winter Soldier series. The Thunderbolts being brought to the big screen or small screen is certainly an exciting prospect, specifically as there are a number of directions the team could be taken in. For starters, we could see Baron Zemo leading a group of bad guys posing as heroes. Alternately, they could be Marvel's version of Task Force X, but that might be a little on the nose with James Gunn working on the Suicide Squad. Again, this is another rumor for now, and it could be years before we know one way or the other whether there are indeed plans for the Red Hulk and Thunderbolts in the MCU. So, I don't know, I mean... I don't mind a She-Hulk series. If they do it good, if they do it well, I'm there. But again, so far we've heard a lot of She-Hulk stuff that, well, Thunderbolt Ross is going to be on She-Hulk, and we might see Betty Ross on She-Hulk, and, now Red Hulk will appear on She-Hulk, and Task Force, whatever. I mean, seems like Thunderbolts, they all going to wind up on She-Hulk, you know what I mean? I want to see a Hulk show that deals with the Hulk, and Bruce Banner interacting with Betty Ross and Thunderbolt Ross and having to take on the Red Hulk and so on and so forth. I mean, that's the stuff I want to see. I don't necessarily want to see the She-Hulk dealing with these characters. The She-Hulk should have her own sphere to work in and so forth. So, I don't know. I just don't know what to think about this. But let me know what you think. I kind of feel as bewildered as as General Ross looks here in this half-wasted photo of him from Iron Man. Oh no, that's from the Incredible Hulk, right? Yeah, and he met Iron Man in that one. Yep. Alrighty. Alright, next up we have a little news about Venom 2. Yes, Venom 2. This is an image, the one on the left, the one on the right is just for me to have a placeholder there so you don't have half a screen that has nothing. That's kind of an imagined look of what I guess Carnage will look like in the movie, but to the left is not imagined. That is actually Woody Harrelson in floral shirt and shorn of his crazy-looking locks, which I like the crazy-looking locks. I mean, yeah, they didn't have to give him a completely... fright wig look, but I don't know, you really can't tell from there if he's got that really obvious ginger hair. But let's see. Venom 2 heads our way this October, and with shooting recently wrapping in the UK. They're shooting in the UK? That's interesting. It surely won't be much longer until we get our first official look at the highly anticipated sequel. Plot details are being kept a closely guarded secret, but Woody Harrelson will be suiting up as Carnage to take a bite out of Eddie Brock. Now, Tom Hardy has shared a first look at the character, and you can see that goofy wig from Venom's post-credit scene is nowhere to be seen. Regardless of how you felt about the movie, it was a fantastic sequence, one of which perfectly set the stage for the follow-up. However, it is widely ridiculed due to Harrison's appearance, so he looks a little more normal here. Certainly a unique look for the villain, but the serial killer is bound to be enjoying his newfound freedom, and it looks like he's wearing some sort of sinister skull necklace as well. What's your first take on Cletus Cassidy in Venom 2? Well, Like I said, I don't know, there's not really much to go on, but, you know, as long as he's got the red hair and he acts a little demented, I think Harrelson will do good. And, you know, I think he's an appropriate choice there for Cassidy. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you excited about Venom 2? I am. I think it's like my third most anticipated this year. I'm only really looking forward to 3 films. Wonder Woman 84, Black Widow, and Venom 2. Everything else, I may or may not see. But I definitely want to see those 3. Those are the ones I'm most interested in. And I have the highest hopes for Wonder Woman 84. I'm hoping Black Widow will sort of go beyond my expectations and be a little more exciting and enthralling. Venom 2 should blow me away, but again, you gotta kind of leave your expectations in check if you don't want these things to disappoint you. So, yeah, let me know how you feel about what's going on here. Alright, next up here, we've got another story. Gee, I don't know how to get rid of... Where is he? Oh, there it is. Okay. Our next story, for a minute there, we thought Jaleel White was going to be in Venom 2, but no, not much. This is a story that I was talking about during the Sonic the Hedgehog movie review. Where's Jaleel White? It's hard to say his name. Jaleel White, right? I always thought it was Jahali White, but it's spelled Jaleel White. Now, I don't know. Somebody could tell me if I'm saying it wrong, but Jahali White is the way I always said it. Jahali White voiced Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog from 93 to 99. I thought it was longer. Gosh, he was in 3 different series of Sonic. But he was the voice of Sonic of the 90s, and that's why he's so ingrained into my mind whenever I think of Sonic. Across 3 cartoon shows, starting with The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog in 1993, still the best, Sonic the Hedgehog, or Saturday AM, as known by fans, premiering the same year, and finally Sonic Underground in 1999. White later reprised the role for a Sonic fan film made by Eddie LeBron, released in 2013, nearly 15 years after he last voiced the iconic character. Wow! Yeah, I didn't even know that there was a fan film. But, I mean, yeah, when you think of it that way, gee, since 1999, the dude hasn't done the voice of Sonic, gosh, for, like, years. Man. Let's see. White has responded and is seemingly game for an appearance. Let's see. White made an Instagram post referencing his time as Sonic, and when a fan referenced Miller's interview, this is how White responded. One of the writers for the Sonic movie wants you to appear in the sequel. Should it be greenlit? Probably guaranteed, given its success. Would you do it? And White, you know, his Instagram or whatever, gave a thumbs up. So, yeah, Jahali White will take a role if offered him in Sonic 2, Electric Boogaloo. And, you know, I'm all for it. I said he should have done the voice of Sonic, but, you know, at least give the guy a role, you know what I mean? I don't suppose he's, like, highly in demand, really. I mean, it's not like he's, you know, got bigger things to do. But I think he likes the character. You know, I don't never hear him downplay his involvement with the role. But, yeah. White's enthusiastic thumbs up seems to indicate he's down for it. Hope it happens for the sake of the fans. Alright, so that's great. Yeah, I hope we get to see Mr. White in Sonic 2. Alright, so next up here we got our final story of the evening. I don't know why I'm having so much problems here. We're trying to navigate. There we go. Alright, our final story here. There's no real copy with this other than the pictures themselves. So let's take a look at these Batman photos. This is apparently a stunt person, a stunt man and stunt woman. Apparently this is Batman and Catwoman. Batman, of course, in his new Bat costume. And Catwoman looking like she's, once again, wearing the same generic black suit that every action heroine has worn since the year, at least since the year 2000. There's been very little to change the look of it. Again, I'm not I'm not excited by the casting of, what's the lady's name that's playing Catwoman? I don't know why I have these brain freezes when I'm on camera. That's when it happens. But apparently this is not Robert Pattinson. Let's see another picture here. He's on a bat bike, which actually looks pretty cool. I like the way they got the horns like pointed up. Now, how do I feel about this? I don't know. I mean, if this is indeed sort of a year one costume, I can kind of understand it. If this is all we've got to deal with, I am going to be kind of disappointed. Like I said, the bat insignia, I don't know why they can't give us the bat insignia with the yellow oval, the bat moon, the bat signal. That's what they should be giving us, and they're still giving us these long, sprawling bats. I don't know. I don't understand, especially when you consider Batman. You know what I mean? The symbol is sort of like, that's your money maker. You know what I mean? You want to put that on lunch boxes and sell the kids on shirts and stuff. And you still got this weird looking bat thing. I don't know. It's again very armored up. They don't have that sort of rubbery look that the original Michael Keaton wore, and I can understand why not wanting that. But again, sort of the shoulder plates, and it seems very suit of armor-ish. Again, I think this is sort of an early costume. I don't want to come at it too hard. The mask is not too bad. It's got that classic sort of Bob Kane, Adam West look to it. I don't mind that too much, but the ears are so pencil thin, and they look very short and spiky and frail. You know what I mean? I kind of would prefer, why can't we get the long ears again? Long ears look great on the Michael Keaton Batman mask. Honestly, they haven't really made improvements cosmetically with the Batman costume since Michael Keaton. Honestly. It's only gotten worse and worse since then. I do think, though, that the functionality of the Batman cowl has gotten better. Because, you know, he can turn his head ever since the, Christian Bale films. I don't know what those things are on his gauntlets. I'm going to guess he's going to shoot those at people and kill people. That's the only thing to expect from the movie Batman. I don't know why. They find a way to let Batman kill no matter what. Utility belt is not gold. That disappoints me as well. There's no cape, which I'm willing to bet that it's going to be CGI'd in later. So, you know, I'm not going to freak out about it. Let's see some more pictures here. They got the goggles, you know, the lenses here. Like, yeah, you can see them close here. These are lenses that I guess you're really not supposed to see in. But in this image, we kind of can. And I skipped this one pretty fast, but let me get back to this one for a second. Let's see. There's this motorcycle. Yeah, it looks like a stripped-down motorcycle. It's not too bad. I like this background here that they're going to a cemetery, and I'm kind of like wondering what that's going to entail. A cemetery? Is this like have something to do with the Waynes or something? I don't know. Would be interesting. Alright, but yeah, so this is the Batman. This is the Batman costume we've got. And of course, fans took to Twitter and all forms of social media to protest and complain. And, you know, I think that maybe 25% were very satisfied with this. Again, like I said, if this is a proto costume, if you're saying this is Batman year 1 or year 2 and this is what he was doing, yeah, I'm alright with it. But, come on, can't we, just for once, humor me here. Hear me out. Humor me for just a minute. Just for once. Can we possibly get a Batman costume that looks like the comics? That looks like 70s, Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil, Batman. Can we just get that once? Can I just get it once, please? I don't want to beg, but just once. Just try it out. We get the gold oval Batman symbol on the chest. We get the long-eared Batman. We get the blue cape and cowl. It doesn't have to be a, electric blue. It could be a deep navy blue type. but just enough so that you could tell it's blue. You know, the gray suit, the bodysuit, similar to what Affleck wore. I think Affleck wore a two-tone scheme that was something that I was looking at. You know, if they just made the hat and gloves blue, you know, I mean, the cowl and cape and gloves and boots blue, would have had a decent costume there. But then we always are marching backwards. We're always marching backwards to a black armor, shiny, you know, with small ears. And I mean, the only thing they're trying different here, honestly, from the Nolan movies is the goggles. They're trying to make him, you know, look like the comic in that respect, I suppose. I'm not a big proponent of the white eyes, the goggles, or whatever you want to call them. I don't think they're really needed. I feel that's something that works better in the comics than it does necessarily in live action. So as much of a purist as I am, I wouldn't complain if they got rid of the goggles. But, you know, go ahead, try that. But just try everything else. Of all things, try everything else that's in the Batman from the Neil Adams, Jerry Apatow era. You know, just try that. Just try it, please. 70s comics era Batman. 70s, 80s, 90s era comics Batman was pretty much the same. They didn't start messing with him until, you know, close to the end of the 90s. Probably the end of the Bronze Age, after the Bronze Age. Alright, so there you have it. Another show in the record books. Let me know what you think of it. What do you think of the Batman suit? What do you think of, you know, the movie in general, how it's shaping up? I don't know. Again, I'm not Zoe Kravitz. That's what I was trying to think of earlier. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman doesn't float my boat, so to speak. You know, race-changing Commissioner Gordon as well. You know, it feels like we're doing the same modern take on Batman. I want to have a classic comic version of Batman for once. I mean, the closest I think we'll ever come is Batman Begins, which to me is the definitive Batman film. But it's in saying that, that's the same as, like, Raimi's Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man. I don't think we're ever going to get as good a Spider-Man movie, particularly Origin, than the original Raimi Spider-Man. But if someone really applied themselves, you could do a more accurate story. You could do a more accurate version of the Origin. The Amazing Spider-Man didn't... nor did Homecoming. They didn't even really try to give him an origin in the MCU. Batman, there's really nothing with the origin that they can monkey with. All they have to do is just say that his parents were killed by, you know, Joe Chill. But the closest that came to a pretty accurate take was Batman Begins, and I think that will always go down as the best Batman movie. But again, Nolan wasn't in it for the comic book feel. He wasn't in it for comic book thrills. He saw it more as an action picture, you know what I mean? An action movie, a French Connection, a James Bond, or something like that. He didn't see it as the Joker falling into a vat of chemicals and coming out with the white skin and the green hair and the red lips, you know what I mean? I want to get a fully accurate Batman representation where we get to see the true origins of Batman, and then see how the rise of the freaks in his world, the colorfulness, the pageantry of those kinds of villains. That's what's the fun that I've been missing, I think, in my recent Batman experiences on film. Again, I wouldn't necessarily throw out Jared Leto, give him a shot again with some better direction, and it could be good. But again, this year, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to take to this. I might just not want to even see it. I might just let it go by the wayside and wait another 5 years until they decide to reboot Batman again. I don't know. I mean, obviously, this isn't going to... I don't think this is not going to cross over with the DCU at large. I don't think this is going to cross over with Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Harley Quinn in whatever movie she'll be in next. So, again, is this just sort of off on its own? Should we kind of just take it for what it is as another Elseworlds take and then just move on? Or what? I don't know. Let me know. Alright, so yet again, another episode in the books. of the Torch News Roundup and the Johnny Torch Live program. Join us once again on the only way to spend your Saturday here with us. And again, I'll try to do some more videos. I'm going to be busy next week. Next week is yours truly's birthday, so I will probably not be doing a video, I imagine, until after my birthday next Saturday. But if I find time to, throw something together, I will be sure to let you know. You can check the link in the description below on Twitter to keep apprised of all these upcoming shows. Make sure you hit the like and share and subscribe. Please subscribe. It's always appreciated. Make sure you check out The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye, the action-adventure saga of a down-on-his-luck private eye taking on the most colorful collection of villains imaginable. Trust me, you won't be sorry. I'm thinking of doing an Indiegogo like I've been saying, but the thing is I don't know why that's such a popular format. I believe in you get what you pay for, you know what I mean? I don't really like asking people to pledge for something and I don't have the work done yet. If I'm going to ask you for money, I'm going to say, here's your book. I'll send it out to you in the mail the day I get whatever it costs in payment. But to have the Indiegogo scene and stuff, I don't really understand why people respond better to that. I'm saying buyers respond better to that, wanting to back a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo rather than just me telling you, look, it's already done. Just, if you're interested, buy it and, it's there for you. I don't understand it. I honestly don't. But if that's the only way, maybe we can get some interest sparked, then hopefully I can get that moving in a positive direction pretty soon. Okay, and so, until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch, reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.